Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Wristre Wednesdays. As you know, my name is Brandon, the host of Wristre Wednesdays, and today I've actually put together another buying guide for us to check out, and it's going to be on my personal favorite timepiece brand, Hublot watches. So I really enjoy Hublot watches. They're pretty new as far as Swiss timepiece brands go. They haven't been around as long as brands such as Rolex and Audemars Piguet and Patek Philippe. But with that being said, I really do like Hublot watches. I think they make some really cool original timepieces that haven't been done before. They weren't too popular when they first started out because they use ETA movements in their watches. With that being said, they have started to move into making in-house movements for their timepieces, which I can definitely appreciate, and I really do like their watches. So I'm personally a big fan of the Big Bang. I mean, who isn't? It's a really great looking watch. So we're going to go through a few different timepieces here for Hublot watches, and just one thing to note before we actually really do get into it is that Hublot watches, there are literally hundreds and hundreds of different reference models out there for Hublot watches themselves, because their main concept behind their watch brand is fusion, mixing like different materials all together, creating like a bunch of different crazy cool watches. So everything from rubber to ceramic to steel to gold. So and they just do like a bunch of different cool combinations. So they literally have hundreds and hundreds of different models out there and reference numbers. So what I've done is I've kind of grouped it into the common theme that Hublot goes by, and they're very popular watches, being like the Big Bang style and the classic fusion style, and then the skeleton dial variants of those different styles. So we're going to check them out, and we're also going to look at like their like more, I'd say like the popular materials that they use for their watches. So we're gonna head on over here to the first page, and we're gonna look at the Hublot Big Bang. So like I said, this is my personal favorite timepiece that they make. I'm a big fan of the steel Big Bang as well as the rose gold and ceramic Big Bang. And you can find these timepieces with 41 millimeter size cases as well as 44 millimeter size cases. And like I said earlier, there's literally plenty of variations out there for Hublot Big Bangs. Anything from straight up cheetah print watches to all gold watches, whether you want a rubber bracelet or a full on linked rose gold bracelet. They have plenty of different variations out there, and there's literally a ton of different reference models. So definitely check them out. Find a watch that suits you. These are a few different breakdowns that I've done of just like the more popular ones that I think they have out there. So the one on the far left, this is going to be called the Black Magic Evolution Big Bang. This is fully ceramic, and as you can see, it's situated on a black rubber bracelet. These are an average price point are about $9,300. The one that I said is my personal favorite, this is the Steel Big Bang. This is a really cool watch. You can see it has like the carbon dial there, and it's got the ceramic bezel, it's got the steel case, and then the rubber bracelet. So they got a lot of different materials going in on one watch. Super comfortable, by the way. Like I said, I've had both the 41 and the 44 millimeter watch. I have a smaller wrist, so I personally like the 41 millimeter, but the 44 millimeter timepiece was very comfortable as well. So these on average, the 44s at least, they go for a price point about $7,600. Over to the right, it's going to be the same timepiece, different materials again. So the case on here is going to be gold, while the bezel is still ceramic and the dial is still carbon and the bracelet is still rubber. So with that being said, because we have some precious metals in there, the watch does get a little more expensive, and on average these go for about $15,000. On the far right there, we have the all gold Hublot Big Bang. So that's no ceramic bezel, that's just gold, and then the rubber bracelet. And on this watch, a little more, that's about $16,000. So on the far, moving over, we now have the Hublot Classic Fusion. So I'd say personally that the Classic Fusion and the Big Bang are Hublot's two most popular models out there, right? And then you have a ton of variants of each of those models, right? So the Classic Fusion often gets mistaken for the Big Bang, but it's really a completely different watch. As you can see, in my opinion, I think it looks much more elegant. It looks more like a dress watch. This has a very sporty vibe going into it, and they don't even have the numbers here, or like any Roman numerals or anything like that. They just have slated markers there to tell the time. And I personally really enjoy the Classic Fusion. I think it looks really cool. Another cool thing about the Classic Fusion and the case sizes, they have a lot more options than the Big Bang does. So as you can see here, for the Big Bang, we only have 41 millimeter as well as 44 millimeter. The cool thing about the Classic Fusion are these can be unisex timepieces as well, because we have sizes all the way down to 33 millimeters and 38 millimeters. And then we also have 42 millimeters and 45 millimeters. So a little bigger than the two standards for the Big Bang, right? Cool thing about the small 33 and 38, they can double as a female watch as well. and they're pretty traditional looking watches, so it can be a nice unisex timepiece. The one on the far left, this is an 18 karat gold. They call it the King Gold Classic Fusion. The average price for this is $20,100, give or take. This is a really cool watch, and why I like the Classic Fusion so much is because you have such an expensive timepiece like this Gold Classic Fusion here, and then right to the right of it, you pretty much more or less have the same timepiece, except that there's no chronograph, it's a different material, and it's so much cheaper. You can still get the same watch with tons of different variants out there. So the watch in the middle, that's the same watch as the watch on the left as well as the right, except the case here is made out of titanium. As you can see, the two watches here in the middle as well as the left, those are situated on like an alligator leather bracelet, and the watch in the middle does not have a chronograph where the other two timepieces do. So like I said, a bunch of different watch variants going on here. The watch in the middle, that's a very simple, elegant watch, tells the date, it tells the time as well. That's going to be a titanium Classic Fusion. Those go for about $4,700, $5,000, a good price point for those. All the way on the right, we have, as you can see here, the Black Magic again, and that's going to be the Black Magic Classic Fusion. So we got a ceramic Classic Fusion here. That's going to be a chronograph as well and a black rubber strap. Super cool watch. These go about for $5,780. I think they're like $11,000 retail, brand new. I really like that timepiece. That's one of my favorite Classic Fusion variants. It's super cool looking. But yeah, so we got the Big Bang and then the Classic Fusion. And then the two other types of watches that we're going to be looking at are going to be the skeleton variants of these two main models, right? So heading over next, we have the Hublot Aero Fusion. So this is going to be the same case style and watch style as the Classic Fusion, except now we have a skeleton dial, and all a skeleton dial is, as you can see here, it's a see-through dial so you can see the actual movement of the timepiece. The case sizes for these, we don't have all the different options like we do with the actual Classic Fusion up here, as you can see, but we do have 45 millimeters only for the for the Aero Fusion, I'm sorry. And then if you do get the Moon Phase watch, which is in the middle, that does have a 42 millimeter variant. So on the far right, this is going to be a titanium Aero Fusion. So like I said, Classic Fusion case, skeleton dial. It's also got the chronograph. The average price point for these are about $11,250. And then in the middle there, that's going to be pretty much kind of like the same watch that we have here, right? With the skeleton dial, and they also have the Moon Phase. So that's again around $11,000 at 10.8. And on the far right, I've never seen this watch in person. I really think it looks super cool, and I'd love to try one on. I think you say Orlinsky. I believe that's the name of it, but that's a really cool looking watch, very unique. As you can see here, it's all black. It looks to me like it's got the black rubber strap. That's also a chronograph. Anyways, the average price point for that watch is going to be the $19,100, so around 19 grand. Yeah, so that's, I know I'm getting on a soapbox here about Hublot watches, but I really love how you can go from like the similar variants to like the Classic Fusion like that, and then the same style of watch. This is still considered like the Aero Fusion family. It's really neat. The last timepieces that we have that we're going to look at are the Aero Bangs. So the Aero Bangs, like we said here, are going to be the exact same, like the case style and the body style as the Big Bangs, right? Except we're going to have the skeleton dial. So you can kind of see the trend now going with how Hublot does their watches, right? So this one, they are only available in 44 millimeter case size. We have the 41 millimeter case sizes for the Big Bangs as well. So the Aero Bangs are 44 millimeter case sizes. So on the far left there, we have the Black Magic Aero Bang on the leather strap. You can see that skeleton dial, Big Bang case. That's a chronograph as well. The average price point for that's about $10,000 at 9.8. In the middle, we have an all gold Aero Bang, which is going to be the same deal going on there. That's pretty expensive. That's going to be about $27,000. So the prices start getting up there, right? And then on the far right, that's just going to be a steel Aero Bang, and the average price point for that's about $11,150 I have written down. So guys, those in my opinion are like the four main popular models for Hublot watches. We also do have the King Power, which is a very big timepiece at 48 millimeters, as well as the Unico, which was the first Hublot timepiece to get an in-house movement. So that was the Unico was Hublot's watches that they first started transitioning to in-house movements with, and later than the rest of them. So with that being said, I do think these four models are the most popular different types of watches that they do. And then like I said before, Hublot has literally tons and tons of different variations. So you get into a bunch of different reference numbers and whatnot. So these are more or less just general guideline prices. They're not going to fit every Hublot watch, certainly not. with that being said though, we have videos on how to go through and check the price points on different watches, so I hope those can help you. And I just wanted to take the time to go through some Hublot watches. I really love them. I think they're super unique and they're very fun too. They're exciting. They're different than your regular just stainless steel sports watch. You know what I mean? So with that being said, guys, I will see you back here on Wednesday for the next episode of Wristre Wednesdays, as well as Sunday in the Coalition newsletter. So have a good one and enjoy the rest of your week, guys.